welcome back. Yeah, welcome back to the Encore Club.
Hello.
This
Ooh,
is that was
my voice just unbroke.
magic. Josh, who is our guest today? Let the people know who our
Do you
guest
know
is.
what? I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah,
I've heard the taste of the music. Love him in Game of Thrones. Toby Sebastian.
Toby Sebastian. And for anyone who doesn't know, Toby Sebastian is an actor and a songwriter, and he's been in some amazing stuff. We did mention this at the end of last episode, but I really want you to go and check out his new album on the 4th of April when it releases on Spotify. It's called Eyes Light Up.
Good album.
Out on Spotify and I think everywhere probably on the 4th of April. It's really worth checking out.
Agreed.
Notable song for us was
Una for me.
Una.
Are you joining me?
Yeah, I'm joining you, but also Daddy Daddy is a great song as well. Go and listen to them. They're really lovely and enjoy this episode. Small known fact as well, just dropping it in there. Toby is, I don't know if you knew this, Toby is Florence Pugh's brother.
I did know.
There you go.
Yep.
Crazy times.
Fair play. Why is
a,
my family not like that?
What, just all really talented?
Yeah. Me and my sister always wanted to be Ryan and Sharpay from High School Musical, but, you know.
Enjoy the episode, guys. Have a good one. Welcome back. Yeah, welcome back. It is the second episode. Welcome back to the Encore Club. My name is Will.
I'm Josh.
And this is the podcast where we invite guests to join us to discuss their dream concerts. And today is, it's the first guest episode, which is quite big.
Very exciting. And what a guest we've got.
Hey, what a guest we've got. So we are joined today none other than Toby Sebastian. Toby, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Toby is an actor and musician. You may have seen him in things like Game of Thrones as Trystane Martell in Game of Thrones. Just quickly, Toby, we kind of had a little watch of all this, and we're devastated by the way that you died in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's pretty gruesome. It was about as savage as it could have been.
Yeah.
It was, it was a bit crazy. But you've also done other amazing films, like you played Andrea Bocelli in The Music of Silence, and also Andre Agassi in The Perfect Match, amongst an array of other amazing films. So yeah, fair play. That's pretty amazing stuff. And then obviously your musical career, which has kind of blossomed over the years, with your I guess debut album in 2013. Am I right in saying?
That's correct. Yeah.
Lovely. And then a fair few, and I say a fair few, I mean a lot of monthly listeners on Spotify, and close to 10 million on your song Midnight on Spotify. So that's amazing. Well done. That's pretty awesome. I couldn't dream of I'd love to think that I'd be able to one day get to that.
One day.
We'll see. We'll
day.
get there one day. But one of the main reasons you're here is because we wanted to kind of obviously have a chat also not only about your dream concert, but about your upcoming release, which is Eyes Light Up, which we have been fortunate enough to kind of have a bit of access to and listen to.
Right up my street.
Yeah, it's
big
time. Yeah.
This is what I like to hear. There aren't many people that have heard it, so it's nice to see the first kind of reactions.
Yeah, I mean, it's us to a T. We won't obviously share it anywhere. Don't worry about that for now.
No.
But listening to that, what did you listen to growing up? What's sent you down that?
Growing up,
yeah. What's sent you down that route of writing music that way and that sort of style?
So, I mean, my dad, my mum. I mean, we had a lot of music kind of blasting in the house. from the day I was really from like the day I was born. I mean, like my parents both love their music. They both love my dad really. We had a lot of Bowie, a lot of Beatles. Just dropped my headphone. We had Bowie, we had the Beatles, we had Crowded House. My mum's side, we had Al Green, Marvin Gaye. So there was a real mix of kind of soul and rock, which I think that I love. There's so many contemporary artists that I love listening to now, but those years really of listening to what my mum and dad loved were kind of like the foundations to all the stuff that I write. So my sisters, they're all brilliant musicians as well. But I can definitely see there's a very distinct kind of correlation between what I was kind of brought up on and what I'm interested in now, and also how I write my songs.
And I think we were luckier back then, the music that we grew up on at a young age back then. I feel sorry for the next year. I feel sorry for my kids, I'd try and implement that and, on Alexa. Yeah. I've still got all of that sort of stuff on, but we definitely had it better back then, I think. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely.
I think so. I think also, it's very hard to know because what's popular now, and there's some amazing stuff that's, of artists that are hugely successful now, but it's kind of music's evolved. So like pop culture has evolved. So I think that there are probably just as many artists that play music that we clearly all enjoy listening to, us three. But we're less likely probably to hear it unless you go searching for it, because it's not going to be in the charts. It's not going to be. Do you know what I mean? Most major labels are going to be looking after kind of artists that are following whatever the world trend is. And me listening to Crowded House, which was probably like, I don't know, 10 or 15 years or 20 years after they'd released those songs when I was listening to them as a kid, they were once really popular. I mean, obviously, like they were huge, but they would have been charting, and even to think of like, growing up as a teenager and the bands I was listening to, like Razorlight and The Strokes, there's kind of less of it seems now, but I think it's just because we go through trends and kind of some things hit the spotlight and other things kind of sit in the background.
Yeah, true.
Agreed. We both actually, I think when we were listening to your new album, we both took away kind of songs that we preferred actually as well. And I actually spoke to David. Is Toby's PR manager.
Lovely guy.
Publicist, yeah.
He's just helped us get this all up and running. So thank you, David. But I was telling him that I was a big fan of Light Years and Daddy Daddy in particular.
Interesting. So the softer ones, yeah.
And then Josh was more into
Una.
Yeah.
What a banger.
What? Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that you like that. I mean, that song, Una, is a song that I had for years, really, and I kind of had an idea of it in my head, but it kind of seemed like it was going to be a difficult thing to kind of achieve. And it was only kind of in the last couple of years I've kind of grown a bit more confident with, production side of things, that I could actually kind of hear it and actually get it down that way. But so Daddy Daddy, Light Years, and Una. Interestingly, you both went the complete opposite ways.
We have although we listen to a lot of the same music, I guess I base myself weirdly in heavier rock and you in more kind of indie rock as our kind of core listening base, I guess. But then to not sound too arrogant with it, we're both songwriters too, and we both are able to kind of appreciate the kind of, I guess, the way that you went around each song. So it is, I guess, and it must be interesting to see kind of two different people give you their kind of idea of which songs they're particularly interested in.
No, absolutely, and I think I kind of the kind of the few people that have heard the record, a couple of the comments that I've had are from people. It's like, there were so many different sounds on this record, and I think that was a little part of me when we were kind of getting towards the end of it in terms of the song selection, where the kind of the overthinking part of my brain was like, is that a problem? Do I not have enough of a sound, like a solid sound, or am I, is there too much going on here? And actually, what I've come to realize is that the moment I said, like, right, these are the songs that are selected, this is it, and there are no more songs needed or required. I was then kind of able to accept a bit more that actually this record for me is particularly important because it's kind of like ticks off all the sounds that I love, whether in terms of music I've grown up listening to and music I still listen to now. I think there's like a little bit of all of the vibes that I love in music on it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's what you want. That's what you want to be putting out,
100%. If you could use one kind of sentence to describe Eyes Light Up,
Yeah,
what would you
yeah.
go for?
Eyes Light Up. The album
Yeah, the whole album. Yeah.
or the track. Um, I suppose I'd start by saying it's genre bending, and I would say that the idea of the album, I kind of wanted to release an album that felt relatively free, and I also wanted I wanted to make an album that could relate to everyone. There are songs on there that the lyrics that I've written, despite it sounding very kind of honest and raw, they're not necessarily about me. I'm trying to, and also they shouldn't be just taken one way. So I would say it's an album of a collection of songs that are genre bending and free, I suppose.
I think it's a good way
Yeah.
to sum it up.
Perfect.
But it is easy listening, isn't it? And it's kind of something for everyone. But it's like we say, right up our street. So shout out to you, mate. Love that.
Thank you guys. I appreciate that.
Toby, do you think silence can be more powerful than music in certain moments? And if so, why?
Silence could be more important than music. Absolutely. I think I'd say because music isn't necessary for every single moment of our lives, and you can't always throw in some music. I think you can't throw it into every single moment that we go through the highs and the lows. But silence is vital because we need silence in conversations, and we need silence sometimes to process or to digest, or even just to celebrate. Sometimes you just need to have stillness and nothingness so that you can kind of take it all in.
Agreed. Yeah, definitely. With the way that music's kind of experienced today, streaming short clips, the algorithms and things like that. Do you think it's kind of taken away from the magic or enhanced it in any way?
It's a good question. I did a podcast, was it last week, and the host kind of asked me a similar question, and the way he put it was, I think he'd said, what are the highs and lows to kind of the streaming kind of scenario now in comparison to what we grew up experiencing? And I think that I really look at it as like a 50-50 thing in terms of opportunity. I think that in a weird way, there's more opportunity because if I don't have Spotify, there's no way that I would have, unless I was signed and I charted, or I spent 10 years kind of like spreading the word. There's no way that 100 countries would have my music, or that I'd be listened to in 100 countries, or whatever it is. I don't know what the figure is. But I mean, all of us, anyone who releases on Spotify now, and you get your you get your sum up at the end of the year. You can see how many countries, how many people are listening. You can target your audience. Obviously, the downside, which is obvious, and everyone knows, is that the pay is it's not great at all, and it should be more. But I think that the opportunities are greater, and I think that I don't know how you'd be able to do it, but I would guess that if you did a comparison of independent artists now compared to independent artists 30 years ago, I guarantee that there's probably a lot more who are successful now than there were 30 years ago,
Yeah.
on some level, at least. And I also think that, the way that I started releasing music, 2013, that album that I did, that was an album that I had done with a label 4 or 5 years prior, and that relationship hadn't worked out in the end. And I basically got the rights back for that album, and I released it off my kind of own accord. And I didn't kind of release anything until 2019 because I was kind of uninspired, just because of the kind of rocky road that I'd kind of gone in music. I had some amazing things, I had some amazing highs, I had some lows, and I kind of just felt a bit let down by the industry, I suppose. Not anyone, but just the industry. And I started kind of putting out the odd single independently, and being able to do that, kind of submitting something 2 weeks before it's released and getting it out and choosing your artwork. And for me, I'd never even kind of contemplated that was something that I would be able to do. And so that level of freedom, and to pop it up onto whatever kind of distribution that you're going to be using as an independent artist, and then to see the stats and to see the audiences grow, I think is incredibly inspiring and magical.
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
It's a split, isn't it? Because there's good and there's bad.
Yeah.
It's so readily available as well now. You can get a song instantly on your phone or, on your laptop. But remember, if you heard something on the radio back in the day that you liked, you had to go out to, what was it, HMV or Virgin stores and go and buy the album and, queuing up for
that. Magic is certainly not here anymore. Absolutely. In the same way. That's something I didn't touch on, and that's a good point. Like, I have so many artists that I listen to on Spotify, and there are so many of them that I don't know their names, or don't know their names, but I don't know the entire catalogue. I don't know which album that song came off, because we all just listen to, most people now, because of Spotify, we Shazam a song, or we hear a song and we listen to that song, or we listen to a playlist that has 500 songs on it, and you just kind of flick through them. So I think that sense, that magical thing of like having an album, having a collection of songs, having a journey that you listen from 1 to 10 in the correct order. That is definitely kind of, there's less of that for sure.
Yeah,
definitely good and bad. But it's like, shuffling through Spotify, and sometimes, you'll pick something and then it will suggest something. Some bands I absolutely adore, I wouldn't have heard of if it wasn't for that. So
sure.
You got to...
My liked playlist on Spotify is so much bigger than what it would have been able to have been without Spotify or any kind of streaming platform being a thing. So it has definitely helped kind of also evolve my music taste to a degree as well, which has been quite a nice thing. So I'm not kind of limited just to the same kind of echo chamber of music that I've been listening to.
Yeah, absolutely true. Toby, I've got a bit of a deeper question for you. Who is your biggest hero? Who's your biggest hero in life?
In life?
Yeah.
Or in music?
No,
in life.
In general.
In life. Shit, that's a hard one. I'm going to let some people down. My biggest hero in life, I would have to say, although he is not here with us anymore, I have to say, someone like David Bowie.
Nice.
Obviously never met him, never knew him, saw him once, but I grew up listening to so much of his music. I loved how he developed as an artist. I love, any interview that you see him talk, he's so eloquent and so brilliant and so smart. The way he carried himself, that's probably the first person I can think about. I mean, I would love to say like a family member or someone, but then I feel like there'd be another side of the family that hated me. So
we get a lot of mum, don't we?
We do get a lot of mum. Not many dads.
No.
Really, less dads.
Not many dads, just mainly mums, and
And David Bowie.
And David, I mean, that's a great shout. To be fair,
Yeah, can't go wrong with that.
I think it's time to probably move on to the main part of the podcast where we talk about your dream concert.
Yep.
So,
Brilliant.
if it's cool with you, Toby, we'll set the scene a little bit. So we'll start off by asking you,
Great.
what's your venue of choice for your dream concert?
So I had a good think about this. I mean, there are some like really, really insane venues around the world. But I decided in the end, I think relatively intimate. So there's a venue, you've probably been to it before, in London called Amira. I've played there a couple of times. It's relatively small. It's about 300 cap. Big enough for a great sound, small enough to feel like you could almost, touch the artist that's right there. So I would say Amira in London.
It's a great shout. I do love an intimate setting for a gig because, I think you're right. It kind of makes it just feel that almost being able to touch the artist makes you feel like it's a little bit more personalized to you.
Absolutely.
And they can get a little bit lost in the kind of arena style gigs where you're right at the back in the
For sure.
So true.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So you've picked your venue, and I say this every week, but I have gone to gigs with the same group for years and years and years, all into the same bands. And those people make the night for me. There's been times when I couldn't really remember the performance of the artist for whatever reason. But, I've had the best time. So who would you be going to your dream gig with?
To my dream gig, I would be going with my girlfriend first and foremost, and probably a couple old friends of mine whoever shares the same kind of love or shares the love for the same type of music. That's who I'd be going with. But my girlfriend and I, we love a lot of the same music, and going to gigs together is great fun.
I think that's really important in a relationship, especially if you're musical,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, being able to share that kind of, because it's a passion.
I went out with this one girl and she only liked house music, and I like a few house tunes, but I'm more of like, I love my indie and like the Libertines.
Yeah, is there anything else?
But she just loved house music, and it was. I hope she's not gonna. She'll know who she is.
I'd have got on board with it, to be fair.
Yeah,
but then if she isn't reciprocating and going maybe to the gigs that you like as well, then that could be a little bit.
She wasn't coming to Mayday Parade or anything.
Well, that's a shame.
That is a shame. Okay, so I think that's fair.
Yeah, and when you're there, Toby, at your venue, with all the people around you, what do you do? Do you buy drinks? Do you go to the merch stall? What's your kind of first? What's your pro?
I'm personally, I've never really been a big merch person. I mean, it's funny. It's like, kind of having my own merch made and designing that and all that stuff, has kind of made me appreciate it more. But until I started doing that, it was never really my thing. I'm having a beer, or I'm having a G&T, and I'm in the zone.
Love that.
And where do you stand? This is at your dream gig, not a general gig. Do you want to be at the front? Do you want to be on the side of the stage? Do you want to be in a mosh pit?
I'm kind of like this dream gig. I would say that I'm like 5 or 6 people from the front, and I'm in the middle.
Nice.
Not too close so the speakers don't, destroy your head. Yeah. But you're just there.
In a good spot. I like it.
In a good spot.
Toby, what was your first ever concert that you went to?
First ever concert that I went to was, I think it was Isle of Wight Festival.
Oh, okay.
Straight in.
Yeah, and I saw Bowie.
Right. Amazing.
So, yeah, that was pretty good. It was actually. Well, I mean, I've probably had gone to a concert before, but I think in terms of like proper a memory that really stands out. I think I must have been about 12. I went with my folks, with my family, and we camped for 2 days.
Nice.
I haven't actually done Isle of Wight yet, and I really want to.
Does it still go on?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had
it's
years.
They have. I feel like
it's
they
quite
have
a big festival.
Yeah. They have a good lineup every year as well.
Yeah,
We
they
should
have some
definitely
great lineups.
try and head there at some point.
100%. Toby, if you could, this is a bit of a savage question for a musician, especially. I think it's
Yeah.
like saying who's your favorite band. But if you could only listen to one song for the rest of your life, what would it be?
So there's a song. I actually thought about this recently. I was like, what is my favorite? If someone ever asked me, there's a song that I don't know because I've only been listening to it for about 3 years. But within those 3 years, I've never got sick of it, and I probably listened to it every day, almost every day, at least every other day since then. And it is Mariella by, and I wish I could say their name, Krongabing. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't. Do you? Are you?
I don't know it, but it must have legs. If you listen to it every other day for 3 years, it's definitely a runner.
It's probably an important time to tell you, Toby, that what we do for every episode is that
How many times has this ever happened on this podcast?
Oh, far too many. For us to not know the song. Yeah, we can eat. We've got you.
Sound.
You're back. Okay.
I'm back.
Sorry.
Sorry. What were we on? Oh, so favorite song. So Karangabin. I think they're Karangabin. They had the song, which I'm sure you would have heard, called Texas Sun. They did, and it was Leon Bridges singing. But the song that I love, that might be my favourite song of all time, is called Mariella, from their second EP that they did with Leon Bridges. The first EP was called Texas Sun, the second one was called Texas Moon. And Mariella is just such a warm, just beautiful sound. And with Leon Bridges' voice and their guitars, is in my mind, it's just like sonic kind of perfection.
Amazing.
Nice.
We don't know that, but we will definitely be checking it out. Probably a good time to tell you that every song that you mentioned throughout this podcast, we build a Spotify playlist from, and we release that with the podcast as well. So anyone can kind of go back. You at home can go back and check out Toby's every song that he mentions or that we all mention within this podcast. So enjoy.
I want to hear this one now because I feel like we've got similar taste in music.
We
and
do.
I feel like I will like it. Let's get back to the dream gig. So, Toby, at your dream gig, who are you having as your first support act?
Yeah. First support.
So just remind me before I answer this question. I've got how many headliners am I choosing, and how many supports am I choosing?
So it's 3 acts throughout the whole night, but they can all be on a headliner level, if that makes sense. So you could have Prince, Queen, and Bowie for all and you get a guest act for the kind of headline act at the end of the night.
All right, brilliant. So my first support, and they should never really be supporting because they're just so epic, would have to be the Strokes. First kind of contemporary rock band that I just fell in love with, a huge part of my childhood. I loved every single album. Yeah.
I love the Strokes.
Love the Strokes.
That's great. What's the encore song that they'll be performing?
Trying Your Luck from their first record, Is This It?
What a bang!
Kind of soft, and then it's angry at the end. It's just so good.
Is it
ballsy?
10 or 11 on the album?
I think it might be 10th on the album. I think it's second track from the last. I'm fairly certain.
Great song.
Yeah.
Great choice.
Okay.
The Strokes is you know what? So far, Toby, that's probably most in tune with our musical taste as
I'd say.
Yeah. Okay, so before we kind of ask about the next act, let's maybe ask a couple more quick questions.
Okay, so Toby, do you think AI could ever truly create music that moves people, or is there something inherently human about songwriting that can't be replicated?
Unfortunately, I think that it one day probably will be able to make music that can move people. To be honest, and the reason why I say it is because there's so much music that moves people that there's so little of the original voice that was recorded in the recording. You know, we were already dealing with kind of a very close we're not. It's not. We're not really far away from it. There's so much music that is released that's already like in that direction. But I don't think it will ever have the ability to move people with the same kind of level of emotional depth. I think there'll always be something. I mean, I was working with a friend of mine recently, a brilliant writer and producer, and we had some songs that we'd written like 15 years ago, and we were kind of discussing like what could we do with them, and he was like, check this out, and he kind of got this software, and he chose 5 different voices, different styles to basically re-sing. Well, not re-sing, just to basically as like almost like as a filter to go on one of my vocals. And so it was my voice, my intonation, my the way that I sing or the phrasing, the dictation, but with basically this kind of like filter of 5 different AI voices, and it sounded pretty cool. It once you knew, once I told someone I played it to a couple people, I was like, how fascinating is this and terrifying. Once they knew it was AI, they could then pick it. It was too smooth. The lack of imperfection
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
and depth was very, very evident. But yeah, that's how I feel.
I mean, I've been tempted when I've recorded stuff and you've seen the AI that do your vocals and stuff to make it better. Pretty shit vocalist, pardon my French, but I would apply it then. But it's a scary thought, isn't it? It is.
It's
What's
when
it
you
going to be like 10,
start
15
using
years?
it to kind of create the lyrics and everything as well, where it kind of takes away from the emotional connection that you're kind of putting into your music. So I feel like you can forgive it if it's to, because essentially we've been using AI to a degree to like auto tune
Yeah.
to aid the creation of music, but when it comes to the actual like the bit that comes from your heart, that's where it becomes a little bit like morally, is this something that's worth going down that path?
Yeah.
Um,
But it will.
100% it will.
Yeah, it will. But I don't. I also, at the same time as saying what I said, I don't think it will. I don't think it's going to replace artists. I mean, I think there will be some kind of cases where it will be successful, but I don't think it will be. I don't think it'll be pushing artists, humans that write their own stuff, to the side. I think it will just
No.
slot within all the stuff that we already listen to.
Yeah. Well, here's hoping it doesn't take
Yeah,
over.
that's a scary thought. An AI artist that essentially starts kind of storming the scene a little bit, and yeah, I mean,
I'm not having that.
that's a Black Mirror episode right there.
Yeah.
Toby, let's get on to your main support act. Who's the second band of the night? Let's maybe not call them support acts. Let's just say first act and second act. Who's the second act of the night?
Second night tonight. So I was going to go for the band that you guys haven't heard of, that I can not pronounce, Karangan. I think that there's not enough history with the band for me to have them. So I go for the Beatles, and I would have them perform Revolver, which is my favourite Beatles album.
Nice.
As the encore. Oh, okay, okay, lovely.
That's a big
That's
shout.
a big. We haven't had the Beatles
The
yet, and that's
tickets for
mad.
this gig
Actually,
would be through the roof.
oh yeah,
Imagine
Oh,
buying
it'd
these
be
tickets
great.
off a tout.
Sign me up.
small intimate venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Okay, so Revolver is the encore. Brilliant. Love that.
Love that. Okay, do you think we've got time for a quick game?
Yeah, let's do a quick one.
This is a very quick game. We're going to play a musical-based game with you,
Go for it.
Toby, if that's
Okay.
okay. It's called One Night Only. And the premise is that you are allowed to bring one artist back from the dead for a final show. However, before we ask you some questions about this particular show, we need to throw at you a chaos element. So this may affect your answers slightly. The chaos. Do you want to give the chaos element? Have you just seen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Go for
Oh,
it. What's the chaos
crikey.
element?
So every guitar is replaced with a recorder.
Shit.
Okay, so first question is, well, who is it? Who's the person you're bringing back from the dead for one final show?
Hendrix.
Hendrix. Can I ask, in the way that you're visioning this, is he just as good on a recorder? Is he playing it backwards? Like,
Yeah.
Well, my thing is like, in terms of entertainment value, I think it would be just brilliant. I mean, can you imagine it with a recorder? I feel like if anyone, he's going to be better than most people at playing the recorder if he can play the guitar like that.
oh yeah,
Do you know what the worst thing about this podcast is these answers come up and we're never going to see it.
no.
Maybe with AI we could create it, but no, good answer. I'm shredding bloody all along the watchtower on the recorder. Brilliant. Fantastic.
Exactly, yeah.
Amazing.
Or Hey Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, so where's that concert happening? It doesn't
What,
have
this,
to happen.
what, Hendrix on the recorder?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Go on.
Hendrix on the recorder, I think probably he's going to be headlining Glastonbury, for sure.
I just
the
visuals from this are mad.
Okay, now what's the one rule at this gig?
So you get to create a rule for the concert.
So the one rule for the gig, what, for the artist or for the gig?
In
For
general.
anyone you want. So it could be for the artist or the attendees or anything.
I can't hear you guys.
Oh,
There we go.
there we go. Sorry, did you get what we were saying? So it's one rule for anyone.
Okay. Gig, Hendrix at Glastonbury. The rule is that everyone in attendance also has a recorder.
Okay, perfect.
So we're going to have like 50,000 people jamming badly with their recorders, and Hendrix will just be just tearing it up on stage.
So the image aside, imagine the sound of the crowd.
All I'm imagining is being sat up by the Glastonbury sign on the side of the hill, and just seeing a field of people playing recorders to Hendrix.
Oh, man, I love that.
Class, yeah.
All right, I enjoyed that.
And yeah, what song do they close with? Do you reckon?
He's closing with all on the
All on the Watchtower.
Has to be.
Brilliant choice. Have we still got you, Toby? Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Lovely. Yeah, sorry, I was just making sure. Yeah, All Along the Watchtower is a great shout. Well, thank you. That's one night only. Thank you very much.
One night only.
One
A night
night
that no one will forget.
No, it certainly won't.
No, it's
No.
gonna be etched on my brain for a while. I love that as a visual, by the way.
I know.
That's club.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
The crowd, though. You know when you like hear yourself singing on the video back at that gig, and it's just
Oh my god, it'd be awful.
playing.
It reminds me of that recorder playing the Titanic theme song, and it's being played really
Yeah.
poorly.
Yeah, that's a good show.
Amazing. Right, well, we're on to the headline act. So, the third and final act of the night at your dream concert. Who are you going for?
Is David Bowie.
Bowie. I mean, it's a clear choice. Let's be honest.
What a gig, man!
Huge gig, by the way.
What a
Huge.
gig.
And I think you've touched.
Where do we
on
get
this.
these tickets?
I know. They'd be.
Are you promoting Toby? Is that what this is?
Yeah, I'm the sole promoter of this recorder concert.
Perfect.
It's a tough ticket to sell, though. If you told me this lineup, I'd be like, something doesn't sound too kosher here. And I think you've touched on it, but why have you chosen David Bowie?
I just think that there's so much variety in there that he could play. We've got things like Hunky Dory, one of my all-time favorite records. There's Diamond Dogs, but there's also some like real, quite soulful belters like Young Americans, where there's saxophone in there and there's kind of a gospel element to it. He's also always will have just that presence, that kind of ownership of the space, a belief, a right to belong in that moment, in that place, and a connection to the fans. So He's the dude.
Yeah. Yep, I think that's well said
shout.
and absolutely fair play. Great
On a
choice.
side note, Toby, if you ever decide to do a acoustic cover of Life on Mars, please let me know because I think that would probably sound quite amazing.
Acoustic cover of Life on Mars.
If you ever do, yeah, just hit me up and just let me know because I'll be downloading that instantly. It's one of my favourite songs.
And you'll be paying for it.
I will be paying for it.
Okay, so that's why we've chosen them. They can bring out a special guest. So who would be coming out on stage as a special guest?
What on with every single artist or with one of them?
Just with Bowie, yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna bring out. He's gonna bring out. He's gonna bring out James Brown.
Nice.
Okay.
It's gonna be a real
Great. Okay, so
James Brown. It's gonna be a real mix of sounds, but it's gonna work.
I love that. What are they performing together?
They're gonna perform. They're gonna perform Night Train.
Okay, nice.
It can't not work.
No.
No, it's a winner.
No, that's class.
It's James Brown and Bowie. Okay.
And I guess last question of your dream gig, unfortunately, is well, not unfortunately, but what is the encore song for the full? What's going to round off the whole night?
So the song's going to run off the whole night. They're all going to come on stage together. Hendrix would have caught wind, and he's going to be there with his recorder.
Brilliant.
And
It's cool.
and they're all going to sing. They're all going to sing Al Green's "Try to Tell Myself."
Nice. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, what a gig, mate.
Strokes, Beatles, Hendrix,
On the recorder.
On the recorder.
James Brown.
It's not just Hendrix, is it?
Sorry.
You know.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. I should preface that. Hendrix on the
There's a
recorder.
catch.
James Brown, Bowie. That's a huge lineup.
It is. If only we could see it for real.
I love it though. That's amazing.
The worst thing is, I would rather see Hendrix on the recorder than see him in the flesh playing the guitar now.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a bold statement.
Kind of
for-
sad it's not real.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
And the
To be
crowd.
fair, I guess that is as long as it's at Glastonbury and like all of them have a recorder too, then that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, all right.
Do we have time for a few? I think we've got time before we kind of say our goodbyes and everything. We've got a few quick would you rathers, if that's okay, Toby.
Go for
Just
it.
all music related would you rathers. I'll kick it off if that's okay.
Fair.
Okay. Would you rather be a one-hit wonder or have a long career but no massive hits?
Long career, no massive hits.
Good shout. That's definitely my answer. And I don't think I'd need to think about that either.
I needed to get my head around this next question. Would you rather lose the ability to hear music or lose the ability to sing or hum music?
Lose the ability to. Well, either lose the ability to sing and hum music, or lose the ability to hear. I would lose the ability to. If you lose the ability to sing, oh my God, why is that so complicated?
It made him completely stand out when
I haven't
first
slept.
asked it.
My brain.
I've been up all night reading this question.
I would lose the ability to sing and hum over losing my hearing.
Agreed.
Yeah, again, agreed as well. Yeah, 100%. I need to be able to tap into all, at least so I get my emotional feels in check with other people's music. No, I completely agree. And finally, would you rather have a mosh pit breakout at an acoustic gig? Let's say one of yours.
Sure.
Or a bunch of people sitting down at a rock concert?
Or a bunch of people sitting down at a rock concert. Mosh pit, probably.
For sure.
A mosh pit, yeah.
I mean, it'd be a bit
an
odd,
age-
but it'd be great, I'm sure.
It's definitely something that people would definitely write about. It'd be like, did you see that mosh pit at that acoustic
You
concert?
get great press, fantastic press.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I went to see, and it's probably because of, the age of the audience, but I went to see Rod Stewart, and like we were getting told off for standing up, and it was like back in your deck chair.
Yeah, that's always. There was a. I went to go and see. What band was it? Boy and Bear. Do you know Boy and Bear?
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I went to go see Boy and Bear about 10 years ago, and when we got there, we didn't realise we were sitting down. It was at Kentish Town, at the O2 in Kentish Town, and we were sat down, and it was such a shame because it was just kind of. I mean, they were great, but the vibe was just not the same. Wasn't the same thing as being able to kind of
Mm.
choose the distance in which you're standing and kind of just kind of be in and amongst everyone. And everyone on the bottom floor, or bottom level, obviously was standing, but we were kind of like higher up. I feel like there aren't many gigs where that improves things.
No,
No,
absolutely not.
agreed.
I don't think I've ever sat. I have sat at a gig where I sat at Feeder. I had to sit. I was very very upset about that. Feeder at the Brighton Centre.
What a band!
Yeah,
Yeah.
what band? I had to sit at the Fray, but just because
Oh, the
I'm nerve
Fray! What a
enders
band
at
as
Fray.
well.
If they
That album, I loved the Fray.
That
How
album.
to say
mate,
you love-
100%. That
Cable
is
Cars.
an incredible album.
Isn't it?
However, I think I had a load of tickets for my birthday when I was very young, and I took a load of friends up to the Birmingham Academy, and I think the problem was that my friends thought it was going to be a slightly different vibe, and
Or your emo friends.
all my emo friends who are into metal now. So yeah, I think they were. I mean, they definitely know who the Fray is. So it's like it's
The Fray were big at the time, weren't
very
they?
huge.
Very huge. I think their album was. I'm fairly certain their album was. I check it now. I feel like the Fray's first album was #1 in America.
It probably was, to be fair.
I
I
mean, is it
mean,
like 2007?
Yeah, that sounds about right. It was.
It's got to be around there.
What was the album called? I can't remember.
Oh, I want to guess it.
What was it called?
And
I
over.
just
Wait,
Was
that
it
was
Over My
track for
Head?
track.
No,
A
that was
great
a
album.
single, wasn't it?
Over My Head was a huge song. Cable Car Over My Head. Yeah, that was
Great emo
huge.
cover of that as well.
There is.
So How to Save a Life was number 3 in the US.
Yeah, and then they drifted away.
It's a
Yeah,
shame because it's fantastic songwriting as well. Like it's
Unbelievable.
it's they're good.
incredible.
Yeah.
So emotional.
Yeah,
Look After You is
yeah.
like heart wrenching. I
Yeah.
loved it. Big up the Fray. Well done,
Yeah, big
guys.
up
Well
the
done, the
That was
Fray.
an incredible
I'd
album.
have them back.
Yeah. Well, Toby, you've made it to the end of the Encore Club podcast. You are officially a member of the Encore Club. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been fantastic to get to know you and your dream concert. But before you go, please, tell everyone what you have going on in your life.
Well, firstly, guys, thank you so much for having me and talking music. It's been a lot of fun. What have I got going on in my life? I've got this album coming that you've heard. My album Eyes Light Up comes out on the 4th of April. Huge amount of love and time and kind of collaboration has gone into it. And I'd say that for the first time as a collection of songs, it's the first time that I'm releasing a collection of songs that completely represents, or most accurately represents, my sound and where I'm at. So check it out.
Absolutely will.
Amazing.
Looking forward to
Amazing.
it.
Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, Toby Sebastian, thank you so much. It's been an
Thank
absolute
you.
honour having you on the show.
Oh, thank you so
It's
much.
been incredible. And yeah, we hope the album does amazingly. We'll be watching and supporting and
blaring on Alexa.
and listening. Una will be being played quite loud from our
Good.
living rooms.
Absolutely.
That's what I like to hear. Thank you, guys. Thanks for
And for
all.
everyone,
Sorry, you were saying?
lovely. Sorry, Toby. Thank you so much, and it's been amazing. Everyone watching at home, please, go and find Toby's music. I believe it'll be out pretty much everywhere that you can stream music. Go and find it. Go and listen to it. We've obviously given you some tracks, but tell us what tracks you like. Tell Toby what tracks you like, and we look forward to hearing from you all. And obviously, like and subscribe to the show, please. We've had an amazing time. And again, Toby, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Hopefully, speak soon.
Thanks, buddy. Good luck.
Bye.
Take care.